It's week 5, and the Dallas Cowboys are coming to town. What can we expect from our New York Jets this week? I'm about to let you know, so let's get fired up. All right, thank you to everybody for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel while you're here. So, we've got the Dallas Cowboys coming to town this week. What do we expect from our New York Jets? Well, we didn't win last week. However, I think there were a lot of really encouraging signs from last week's game, and I'm going to go over a couple of them. Let me just start off by saying
But
one
here's what I
thing.
do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this. Listen.
We are built for this. Maybe not built for everything yet. No, we've waited so long, and we've been through so much. We're ready to start winning games. We're ready for things to change. To change. But this is the thing. It's been 4 weeks. Okay, we're 4 weeks in to Aaron Glenn's tenure. Okay, you can't expect this perfect announce where and defense really needs to catch up. The defense has not been good. However, I think there's a couple of things that we can attribute to that too. But I wanted to go over some of the positives from last week and talk about how that can pertain to the game that's coming up. Aaron said Jets, and boy, we lost the game. You know, we're still losing games. We're still not winning. We had a bunch of penalties. We had a bunch of turnovers. Now, it, get to the penalties later. This was the most uneven, poorly officiated game that I've seen in a long time. And I don't really want to waste a lot of time on that. Like I said, I want to get to the positives. What man? One thing that is different about Aaron Glenn's Jets than the teams we've seen in the past, we have scored on our first possession. In every game except, I believe, the Buffalo game, we have scored on our first possession. That's not old Jets. Okay, I remember times where we didn't score in the first half, let alone on our. In the beginning of that game, we were able to run the ball at will. And Miami could not stop our run. We were imposing our will on them, and there was nothing they could do about it. Didn't throw the second half. Well, that's true. But you know what? like this plays. If they couldn't stop the run, why stop running? The only reason they stopped running the ball is because of the turnovers we committed. We committed so many turnovers, and it spotted them so many points that it put us behind, and we had to start throwing the ball in order to catch up. If we hadn't committed those turnovers, we that is different about Aaron Glenn's Jets is catches for first downs. And this is important. To me, this is a big one. For if it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, we would throw a 3 or 4 yard pass and expect our guy, to make a half a dozen people miss just in order to get the first down. And it would drive me crazy the way that they would throw short of the sticks all the time. That is something that's different about Aaron Glenn's Jets. Over and over again, I saw Breece Hall, Mason Taylor catching balls right at the sticks and converting first downs. We have our 2 tackles for the future, Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu. Membu was a beast blocking in the run game, while Olu was excellent in pass protection. Membu's going to be a stud. Like, he looks as good as he does already, and he's only 4 games into his pro career. Olu, on the other hand, this is his first year as a full-time starter. Yes, he did play some games last year, but these guys are still both very young. And guess what? Membu's pass blocking will get better. Olu's run blocking will get better. But for the most part, I think our tackles did a terrific job in this past game. And like I said before, the turnovers are what forced us to abandon the run. Once we did abandon the run and we had to throw the ball in the second half, Justin Fields was very efficient passing the ball. Like I said, there were a lot of, you know, kind of short to intermediate passes, throwing the ball right at the sticks, consistently converting third downs. That was huge. He had a couple of nice, not really long balls, but intermediate balls in the fourth quarter, one to Garrett and one to Mason Taylor. And he looked really good passing the ball. In the first half, Miami couldn't stop our run. In the second half, they really couldn't stop our pass. And I really liked what I saw from Fields in the second half of that game. He was passing the ball. He was efficient. And, you know, need to go all progressions ball into the hands of his playmakers. I really liked what I saw from Fields in that standpoint. Now, did he hold the ball a little bit long? Yes. I think his average release time was like, 3.7 seconds or something like that, which that's not great, but he wasn't taking sacks, and he looked really good. Um, the other thing is that, as I was saying before, Glenn is building something here, but when you build something, you don't start at the top. Everybody wants that shiny old buddy from around. And Marvin, you're digging footers and pouring the slab, and you're doing the dirty work down at the bottom, and that's where we're at right now. There's been a lot of critiques about some of our draft picks. Uh, Kiko, Tyler Barron. Why haven't we seen Arian Smith? But this is else that I want out. Glenn have his own scouting department. Like, this was still the over scouting department from the Sala regime. And one thing to me very obvious is they leaned heavily on area for that draft. Like, look at the pick and Smith, like all of those guys. If you look at it, LSU, you notice how they're all in the southeastern region of the country. Like that region scout probably scouted every one of those players. Consider this for a moment. Say you were a scout and you went to Florida State to see Azarie Thomas. And next, you had to go and look at one of our other draft picks and look at another prospect. If you were in Tallahassee, Florida, you could drive to Miami, you could drive to Georgia, you could drive to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, you could drive to New Orleans, to LSU in 10 hours. If you could drive literally to see any one of our other draft picks in 10 hours or less. That's because they're all in that same region. And whoever that region scout was, it's obvious that they leaned heavily on him during this draft process. Uh, I don't even know if they were really looking or had players from other regions on their board late in that draft. It all seems like they didn't the way that they picked. Not that I'm against any of these players, but I'm just saying. Um, two things here. We have to manufacture some sort of pass rush. I was really hopeful that Jermaine would come back this week. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to, or at least it doesn't look likely at the moment, as he was working off to the side today and not with everybody else that's playing this week. So if we're not going to have Jermaine back, I think that that's one thing that's really hindered us all young. We're going to have to do some more blitzing. We're going to have some creative blitzes, and we're going to have to find a way to manufacture a pass rush because we have to start opposing quarterbacks. That's all there is to it. The other thing is the turnover battle, and I said this last week. Okay, when it comes to the turnover battle, we're not, you know, turnovers. Even if hitting turnovers, like that killed us in this last game, and it's ironic because you know everybody knows Florida State fan, and Florida State won their first three games last week. They lost for the first time. You know why they lost? They committed three turnovers in the first quarter and 14 points. The same thing happened with the Jets. So you do teams even an NFL team that's not doing good, the Browns, the whoever. Dude, these are all still pro athletes. Even the world team still in football. You cannot an opponent 14 points and expect in the win column. We just cannot keep so obviously get cleaned. Some of the penalties get cleaned up. Um, I've talked a lot about the offense. I haven't really talked about the defense. Dude, defensively, there isn't much to see. Uh, tackling has been poor. Guys are out of place. Guys running into each other more time. Gonna. Um, I can tell you one thing that no, By the way, I wanted to mention that. I went back and I watched the tape. I would know when Aaron Glenn always says he has to watch the tape, is he getting the same tape that we are? Because the one thing that stood out is every time there was a missed tackle, it seemed like it was Tony Adams. The A chain run where, a half a dozen of our guys missed him. Adams is right there running into somebody. I saw him run into Stevens on a play. I saw him run into Kiko on a play. Like, dude, enough. Enough with Tony Adams. I mean, like, get that guy off the field. Let's put Malachi Moore out there. He did well in limited time so far. And for goodness sakes, man, start giving Azaria Thomas some snaps. I have seen enough out of Brandon Stevens. Enough is enough. I know that they invested a lot in him, whatever, but he's been bad. And dude, I'll tell you what, Stevens, who has been without worst player in secondary, in the beginning of that game where he actually did his job for a change and knocked down that pass to Waddle, when he went out there and started celebrating and doing like the mime thing, I'm thinking, dude, you suck. What are you doing? You made one good play and now you're going to go out there and celebrate like you actually accomplished something. Man, I wanted to like reach in my TV and slap that fucking guy. Like that irritated me. And just in general, like personally, I don't care if it's him, if it's Quincy with the uppercut or Q with his dance. Until we clean up that shit on the defense and we start playing better and we start winning some games, I don't want to see any individual celebrations. If I see that defense celebrating it because just the ball away and they're all running, I don't know. I don't want to see individual celebrations out of these guys after plays. Um, Now, everything that I've talked about pretty much has been about last week. So, how does that pertain to this week? I'll tell you what. This week is going to be tough for this defense because, you know, similar to last week, where they had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they had very good number 1 and 2 receivers. Now in Dallas, you got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. All teams have seemed to shut down Lamb. They're double teaming him a lot, and he's been rather quiet this year. Pickens has benefit and watching what I've this season, knowing that probably the hottest player on their offense is their number 2 wide receiver. The worst player, our defense, is our number 2 corner. I'm probably not going to be getting a lot of sleep between now and the time that game happens. That worries me. I think if there was ever a time to put Azaria out there and see what he can do, it would be the week for that reason. So hopefully they can get some of these things figured out. Um, Dallas's defense has not been really good. So I think this game is going to be like a lot of our games this year. Uh, like the Pittsburgh game. I think they're going to score. We're going to score. They're going to score. We're going to score. I don't think either defense is going to be able to stop the other team from putting up points. Same thing with the Dolphins game. And I'll tell you what, going back and rewatching that Miami game, which I've done, the condensed version, but like I said, biggest for me was, like I said, the fact that we are actually throwing the ball to the sticks now and converting first downs. Like that's so huge to me. I remember a year ago, whatever, when we were talking about possibly Traylon. One of the I like the best about Cortland Sutton is when they throw him where the sticks are, and a large majority of his catches that I watched on tape were for first downs. And Joe Blewett from Jets X Factor posted something on Twitter today, and it was a really simple play. It wasn't much, but it was from the end of the game in the fourth quarter. I think it was about 5 minutes into the fourth quarter or something. There was a pass to Mason Taylor, and he caught it, a yard or so short of the sticks. But after he caught the ball, he fell backwards because he had the awareness of where he was on the field to know where the sticks were and to know where he had to get for the first down, which Joe commented, and I agree. So that was something that was really encouraging to me. Mason Taylor looked really good. I think he's a real weapon for us. Take away the score, take away the turnovers, and Mason Taylor had a very nice game in that game. And tight end is not usually a position where rookies come in and flourish right away. It usually takes them a while to kind of get up to speed. So the fact that he's already and he had some nice blocking plays in that game too. Uh, I really like Taylor, and I wasn't real high on that pick to begin with. Uh, but he had a really nice game, and I saw some really encouraging things from him. So I think mainly the main thing this week is we cannot beat ourselves. Like Brees Hall said, third and shoot in the foot, and come out and shoot ourselves. We just have that. We can't beat ourselves. And I'll tell you what, in that Miami game, we beat ourselves. In that Steelers game, we beat ourselves. In the Bucks game, we beat ourselves. I mean, we very easily for all the crazy people that want Glenn fired after only 4 games, for all the people that are complaining about Aaron Glenn, we've seen some efficient moments from our offense. We've seen some encouraging things. I really do think that they're getting this thing headed in the right direction. Like I said, the defense seriously needs to catch up. I don't know if that's going to be Glenn start calling the plays himself. Glenn just putting his foot down and you know saying, "Listen, we need to go to zone in these situations." Calling for more blitzes to manufacture that pass rush, like I was talking about. Glenn may have to get involved with the defense, but the offense, I really do think is kind of headed in the right direction. Um, the Cowboys don't scare me. They don't have Micah Parsons anymore. That was the one guy on that team that absolutely terrorized us last time we played them. And they're not a powerhouse team. Like, this is a winnable game. The fact that Jermaine won't be back is a bummer, but I, I still think that we can win this game as long as we do not beat ourselves. So for this game, I think we've got a good chance to get our for the year and be fired up and ready to get this thing going. I hope our offense can look like it did in that Miami game. I want to come out running the ball, running it right down their throat, and just chewing up clock and just really hitting them in the face and Yeah, man, like, I'm ready to for this thing to really get rolling. Um, I would like to see some more Arian Smith. I would like to really see them kinda get him involved, and, like, even if he's only a decoy, go routes and at least threaten the other team deep. Um, we haven't seen that so far, and that's something I think that has been missing that we could improve on the offensive side, but all things considered that, like I said, the offense, I saw a lot of positives. Consistently converting first downs, you know, in the first half, we ran at will. In the second half, they couldn't stop our pass. So, and the only reason we went to the pass is because we got so behind in the score because of the turnovers. So, obviously, we have the ability to run the ball. We have the ability to pass the ball. If we can just put that all together, like I really truly believe the defense is close. I wish I could say the same about the defense, and you know, almost resigned myself to the fact that I might not see a win until Jermaine came back or Jermaine and Quincy came back. But I hope that's not the case. I hope we can blitz and do some other things to make up for the loss of a good pass rusher because Michael Clements is awful. Other thing, dude, he had no pass rush moves at all. Like he had a spin move like Will McDonald, maybe not as good, but any kind of move like that, it would be different. But like every single pass rush rep is like a bull rush. Starts outside and then tries to go inside, or starts inside and then tries to go outside. But dude, there's no swim move. There's no dip and rip like Huff used to do. There's no spin. There's nothing. Like his you know pass rush arsenal is just bull rush and try to overpower people. Dude, the guy played college for 5 fucking years, and the only reason he looked good in college is because he is a physical specimen, and he was just bigger and stronger throwing around those college kids. I'll tell you what, the NFL, where most of us are just as big and strong as he is, he's very good. He's throwing nobody around in this league, and we all know is there's just nobody behind him. There's no need Jermaine back. In all fairness to Aaron, he wasn't going to on this roster in one off season. So, depth at defensive end, receiver, like those are there just wasn't much that we about. You know, all in all, I think Glenn's got this thing headed in the right direction. Um, we don't really have any call. If somebody wants to call in, go and call in. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to have this late tonight. uh, Addison is having his debut on, which hell, I was there first thing in the morning with him this morning and out for a long time, and I go and do some other things. But I came home, went to sleep for a little while, woke up, they were still going. It was like 15 hours at that point, and I believe going. So awesome to see him taking the steering wheel over there and doing his thing. And, I'll probably end up back over there later in my show. but pretty near future. Um, I've got some uh, out video. Hopefully I'll have it by the time I do the Tuesday night show. I'm hoping. I don't think I'll have it. In, I was going to do a Saturday afternoon this week, but work and other situations that are going on, I'm not going to be able to. So the next show will be Tuesday at 8 p.m. And like I said, hopefully I'll have that new ending video ready for. I also have guests I'm in the next 2 3 weeks, and y'all posted on that. Uh, hit that like button for me if you have not subscribed to the channel. Of you, and until next week.